This week's show brought to you by Frank Shoup, Georgetown's big name in cars. Roosters, a fun casual joint. Georgetown Advantage Air, now locally owned and operated by Gene Thompson. Welcome everybody to the News Graphic Scott County Coaches Show, the final football coaches show of the year. We hate to reach the end, but here we are. We thought we'd end the season on a happy note because 11 wins, nothing to sneeze at. I mean, how many teams, how many programs in America get to say they did that? And it's kind of a habit around here.
Well, first off, just appreciate the effort that you've put in to make this show a reality, and I'm sure that a lot of people have enjoyed it. I think that if we're making a positive impact, which I think we are, then it's the right thing to do, and we'll continue to look at ways to make it better. So I appreciate your all's effort. I appreciate our people that are watching it. They're taking 15 minutes out of their day to watch, and we appreciate that. And lastly, we appreciate our team. We've won at least 10 games for 9 straight years. We'll need to do it again next year, obviously, to make it a decade. And we had a great season. It doesn't really lessen the pain of the sting of losing, but we did have a great season, and our seniors have a lot to be proud of. And hopefully, as time wears forward, they will look back and remember the fond things more so than the negative.
How long does that process usually take? Is it a long?
It's a long time.
I'm just along for the ride. It took me a few days to contemplate everything.
Well, it just. My uncle was a football coach in the 1960s at Harrison County High School, and he was very successful. And he lost in 1965 in the state semifinals to Hopkinsville, and then he had what he thought his best team was in 1967. They lost to Ashland in the state semifinals, and Ashland turned around and then the next week in the finals and won the championship handily. And he's 78 years old, and so I don't think it really ever goes away for the people that are. Now, it's not that it was important to our fans, and it was important to some of our players. But everybody moves on in their life, but to those key guys, that this was their senior year, and to those coaches, I don't probably think that ever goes away, especially the way the game ended and some stuff that we had that happened in the game.
And as you said to me right after the game ended, you said these opportunities don't come along every year or all the time, and that's the part that probably stays with you, is it? So close, and you never know what next year is going to bring.
No, you never know. I mean, a perfect example is just how healthy we were going into the game. In all the years I've coached, I don't know that I've probably coached in like 7 or 8 semifinal games in my whole career. I don't know that I ever went into a semifinal game without a starter out for an injury. And then it's a long time before you can get back to there. It's 6 or 7 months of lifting and working, and so it is. It's a long time, but at the same time, you've got to try to learn from every situation, so that when that opportunity presents itself again, you're more prepared to seize it.
Often in a close game, people focus on the last play. Vikings fans will focus on missing a field goal at the end of the game in the playoffs or something like that. And you can talk about the 2-point conversion. But
I remember that field goal. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
Last year.
They were playing at the University of Minnesota.
Kicker never got over it. He got cut a couple of weeks ago. I think the point being, sometimes we focus on that last play, but there's always 3, 4, 5, a dozen plays in a game that you can look back on and say, gee, if this had happened.
Well, and Vikings fans look through things with purple glasses. And Scott County fans look through things with red glasses. If we had no vested interest, and we were Lafayette coaches and newsmen and parents, then when we watched that film, we would look at it from a completely different perspective. There are plays that we've overlooked in the game that went our way, and we really probably didn't realize that they were this close to going somebody else's way. But no, it was like I said after the game. It was our program starts with me, and ultimately, I'm responsible for every aspect of it. And, you know, we've got to get in before the half. And, you know, I mean, you can sit there. And, I mean, first off, I've looked at the film. You probably were standing down there and saw it in live time, I'm guessing. I don't know where you stand.
I was right there at the goal line.
Were you right at the goal line?
Yes.
And, you know, it's very clear to me that he was in.
I know what I thought I saw. You know, in fairness, I'm standing on the sideline, and that's in the middle of the field. But
yeah, and you know, and the side judge comes to raise his hands.
It looks like they were all looking at each other, waiting for somebody to make the call.
And by the time they got in there together, they pulled him back out. But here's the point. You know, the point is just walking.
Right. Don't leave anything to chance. Huh?
You know, don't leave anything to chance. Just walk in. And so, you know, right there, you know, I felt we had burned a timeout earlier in the half, and we didn't have all 3 of our timeouts. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we've talked about a lot as a staff to all, and that's nobody's fault. No. But I'm just saying that's a reiteration of you need all 3 of your timeouts at the end of a half in a close game. And then at the end of the game, I mean, I'm never shy. I don't put on a facade to be somebody that I'm not. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I am who I am. And, you know, we had 1 2-point play. We didn't have 2. And
you sort of admitted that the week before. You know, that's our 2-point play.
I could have, you know, I could have. Now, I don't feel bad necessarily when I made the call, you know, but that 2-point play, we've always had really good kickers here and that have made the majority of their extra points. And so really the only time we've wanted a 2-point play is always at the end of a game to tie a game or possibly win a game. You know, we very seldom have gone for 2 in the first quarter,
right,
in the second quarter, in the third quarter. Now, we went for 2 against Ryle to try to flip the momentum.
Right.
I just felt like we needed that extra. And so when the officials blew the play dead, I kind of had to grasp a little bit right there.
Yeah. And,
but I don't feel bad about the call after watching the film.
No.
You know, we had a shot.
And each team had 1 blocked earlier in the game, so that's a risk. If you go to overtime, obviously the way Wood was playing that game.
And the way we were playing, I mean, at some point in time, somebody was going to have to go for 2.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was going to be tough for either team to stop the other one for getting 10 yards in 4 plays. But I can't worry about that. You know, I mean, I made the decision, and I wish, you know, I had a timeout, and somebody said, well, why don't you call your timeout? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You know, my thought process was we had them reeling. They're on their heels. In hindsight, I would have called the timeout and gone out there and talked to the guys a little bit after the first play didn't work. And, you know, I'm sure you saw what Harbaugh said. He got fined $10,000. So, you know, like if I get fined, I'm dead meat because Scott County High School Athletics isn't going to pay it like the University of Michigan.
We'll have the bottle drive for you.
I mean, can you pay it for me?
Yeah, no, I cannot.
But what happened, you know, on the first 2-point play? You know what happened?
On the first 2-point play, I mean,
did you hear the ball blown ready for play or no?
I did. I would have to look at the film to see if I heard that. I wasn't really paying attention. I thought there had been quite a long time between the time the touchdown was scored and.
Yeah. But the white hat asked me, you know, do you want the ball on the left hash, middle, or center?
Yeah.
And I said I want the ball in the middle of the field. And the umpire and the back judge were underneath the goalpost when we got under center, anticipating a PAT. And you know, I actually made contact with the white hat in a very professional manner and just said, hey, can you talk me through what happened on the last play? So if I get put in that situation again, and he has never responded. But they're lined up to, you know, see if the extra point's good. Yeah. And I think when the white hat looks up, he sees his crew misaligned and he kills the play. So it's almost kind of like
official's timeout.
Yeah, to get aligned correctly. Yeah. But again, same situation. Try not to leave it up to that. But and I'm proud of our kids. I mean, gosh, they played really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we needed to get in before the half, and you know, we needed the first 2-point play to have a shot. It's hard to say, you know, like you. I mean, you said your wife or your girlfriend or your for back in the day or whatever. You know, you see somebody, you think, I guarantee you my wife's getting me this for Christmas. But you never know.
No.
Or you say, man, when I'm in 8th grade, I guarantee you I can get that little blonde girl to go to dance with me. But it sure looked like Lynn was going to score.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Either Glenn was going to score or he was going to throw it to somebody who was going to.
Yeah, it sure looked like he was going to score. And then at that point in time, we got 11 seconds. We're going to have to dribble an onside kick and fend off like a Stanford Cal play.
Which could, crazy things happen.
Absolutely.
Great season, 9 years out of 10 to win the district. And as we've said to each other, sometimes you get guilty of saying, you know, maybe the district's not strong, but I think it's just the case of Scott County is strong. Scott County sometimes makes other teams look bad, you know, by dominating.
I said this to you, I think, or maybe I might have said it to another media outlet. I mean, I hope that Lafayette maintains the level of program that they have. You know, I don't really know if other teams believe in doing this or not, but, you know, I mean, I've always told our staff and our coaches, you know, and our players that when you lose to somebody, don't make excuses for yourself. Just give the other team credit too. I mean, those guys have done a very good job, and they have a high talent level. They've had a lot of really good players. You know, 2 guys playing the U.S. Army, or one in the Army game and one in the Under Armour game. Mm-hmm. And it's been great for football in Central Kentucky, and I hope that, you know, they continue to stay right where they are, because that's what makes it fun. Even though we lost, it was a heck of a game.
Sounds like good final words for the 2016 season for Coach McKee. I'm Kal. We'll do it again next year. See you then.